Now, what is morphology? Morphology means any external structure. Like the plants will have stem, they will have root, they will have leaves, they have flowers, they have fruit. So all these forms a part of the external structure. Now of this, stem helps in conducting the water and minerals to all parts of the plants, or transporting water and minerals as well as a food to different parts of the plant. And the roots that are present below the soil, roots help in absorbing water and minerals. So we can divide the plants into two parts. One is the part of the plant that comes above the level of the soil. That part can be called as shoot system. That is the stem, leaf, flower, fruits, all this comes under the shoot system. Whereas the part of the plant that comes below the level of the soil will be called as root system. Now in these, the different parts have their own roles. Like the leaves, they prepare the food, they synthesize the food. Flowers and fruits are considered to be the reproductive parts. But in order to adapt themselves to different habitats, they have other functions too. They have modified functions. Like some of these parts will be used for protection, they can be used for climbing and storage. So there will be variations in different parts as adaptations to various habitats. Now starting with the root. Roots are of three types. One is taproot. Taproot means those plants, they will have roots in this way where there is a main root like this, which is called a primary root. This is primary root. And these roots are coming from radicle. Radicle means when they were seed, when a seed germinates, the part of the seed that comes out and future they become the root. That part is called radicle, that is directed towards the soil. And the part of the embryo that moves upwards and forms later the parts of shoot, they are called as plumule. So in tap roots, the main root is from the radicle, formed from the radicle, and there are branches of this radicle. These primary root will have branches laterally, and this kind of root system can be seen in dicot plants. They can be seen in dicotyledonous plants. For example, mustard. Mustard plant have taproot system. The another type of root system is called fibrous root system. This can be seen in monocotyledonous plants. In fibrous root system, this is a stem. From the base of the stem, the roots arise. From the base of the stem, the roots arise, but not as a main root and lateral branches, but they arise with large number of roots from the stem base. From the base of the stem, large number of roots arise. And they don't arise from the radical part, it's from the base of the stem it arises. This can be seen in wheat plants. Another type of root system is called adventitious root system. Adventitious roots. Now the tap roots arises from the radicle of the seeds, whereas the adventitious roots, the roots arise from parts of the plant other than the radicle. For example, in case of banyan tree, so this is banyan tree, and these are banyan trees branches. And if the roots arise from the branches, then it is called adventitious roots. Because adventitious roots means the roots arise from other parts of plants, not the radical part. Roots arise from parts of plant other than the radical. Here we can see now the banyan tree. These are the banyan tree branches. Now these are the roots that arise from the branches. So since the roots arise from the branches, these kind of roots are called adventitious roots. Here this is the case of wheat plant roots, where the roots arise from the base of the stem. They're fibrous. Large number of roots are arising from the stem base, and they're not arising from radicle. Here we can see the mustard plant roots. So there is a tap root here, there's a primary root, and from the primary root arises the branches, the lateral fine branches. So this kind of root system is called taproot system. And the taproot is arising from the radical part. Roots help in anchoring the plant to the soil. So it helps in anchorage. Second, functions of root. Roots help in anchorage of the plant to the soil. Then roots help in absorbing minerals and water from the soil. And they have got modified functions. They help in storing reserve food, as in carrot. They also synthesize some plant growth regulators. So they help in synthesis of plant growth regulators. Plant growth regulators means like auxin, cytokinin, like hormones. So the tips of roots can synthesize hormones or plant growth regulators. A root has the following regions. Roots are always protected with a root cap. They're protected with root cap. The root cap protects the tip of root, that is the root apex. As the root passes through the soil. So there are three regions present on the root. The part where there is the root cap and above that, this part, the cells divide as they have meristematic tissue. So the meristematic tissue contains cells that divides. So the first part or the first region is region of meristematic activity. So this we'll consider as region of meristematic activity. Here the cell divides. Cell divides in number to increase the number. The next is region of elongation. So region of elongation contains cells that elongate or they become long. These cells elongate and that leads to increase in length. Increase in the length of plant root. And the last region is region of maturation. So after the region of meristem and the region of elongation, the remaining parts of the root, those cells will stop dividing and they will start maturing and differentiating. And they will start forming thread-like structures called root hairs. So this region is called region of maturation. So in region of maturation, cells differentiate. Cells differentiate and they mature to form root hairs. They form the root hairs in the region of maturation. Now the roots, their main function is to absorb minerals and water, but the root functions have some modifications. In this case, you can see the carrot and these are the turnips. They are actually the roots of plant, but their function over here is to store food. So the tap roots of carrot as well as turnip, they can store food. Another modified function of root is to give support. Giving support is another modified function of root. Now there are two types of supporting roots. One is called stilt roots and the other is called prop roots. Stilt roots, for example, in sugarcane and maize, there the roots arise from the lower nodes of stem. Like if this is the stem and the point from which the branches arise, they are called as nodes. So the lowermost nodes, from there the roots arise. And that will be above the level of soil. Such kinds of roots, and that is meant to support the plant, is seen in case of sugarcane and maize. You can see stilt roots in these pictures. See, these are the stilt roots seen in the sugarcane, and they are the stilt roots seen in maize. You can see that in maize as well as sugarcane. Similarly, the other type of supporting roots are called prop roots. So these prop roots are seen in banyan tree. These roots arise from the branches, and the roots after arising from the branches, they grow downwards directed towards the soil, and then they support the whole large banyan tree. So they are called prop roots. And then there are roots which help mangrove trees. The mangroves like rhizophora. Rhizophora, since they live in marshy areas, they will need oxygen for breathing. So there are these special roots. These are roots arising out of the soil, and they will help in getting oxygen for respiration. So these roots are called pneumatophores. Pneumatophores means they are roots seen in plants like rhizophora. They grow in marshy areas where the amount of oxygen present in the soil will be less. So these roots are present that will help them get oxygen for respiration.